to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
Righty. That's it. That's right. It is the 19th of July, and we are going to have a rocking show because we're going to have a rocking event here in about an hour. Want to welcome everybody. This is the Changing Stage, brought to you by musicpower.com and powered by WS Radio Networks. And we are here with some really good friends. We've had them on the show before. This is going to be a really in-depth show with Fender guitars or Fender musical instruments. Did I say that right, guys? Yes. Okay, cool. I'm used to just saying Fender, right? So we have Danny and Rick Heins and Danny Guiono. Did I get that right?
That's correct.
Hey, there we go. They got the French going on. We're here with these gentlemen. We're gonna rock some stuff here today, and brought this up. We are gonna have an event here later on this afternoon, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna have a really cool event where we'll be able to actually hang out at Guitar Trader with some amazing one-of-a-kind instruments and amplifiers. And we're going to have fun talking about the history of Fender, the history of the guitar, the Stratocaster, and the history of amplifiers. From the beginnings of Leo Fender all the way on up till today, as well as some acoustics. Danny's going to be talking to some really cool, unique, one-of-a-kind acoustic guitars.
Yes, we actually got a chance to play with them. I don't know if you're going to make it out of here, Danny.
At least my guitar won't.
Guitar may not be. He'll crawl out. No evidence. Can't leave any evidence. Anyway, so this is going to be at the Guitar Trader. That is at 7120 Claremont Mesa Boulevard over there in Claremont Mesa by the Convoy area. So come out. We will have food, but there's always good Asian food around that area too. I love that. We always go out there. But there's going to be some hot dogs and some all kinds of goodies. So make sure you get out there. And I want to kind of recap a little bit. We had you folks on last week, and we talked about some good things. We talked about your history. Everyone seems to be a player at some point in the business, right? You both have played?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so and you've both progressed into careers into the business. So we talked about that, but then we talked about the history. So kind of give us a little recap of a little bit about what we talked about, and then kind of get more into the history. Rick, you really were driving that before.
Are we talking Fender's history then?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, that could be. We could do this for like 10 days. You know, I mean, the history is ridiculous.
Rich.
On the way here, on the flight, I brought along with me the Solatone book, actually, which is a great book about all Fender's amps from the very beginning to now. It's actually going to be available at the event. If someone buys a guitar and amplifier, they actually get this.
Oh, so this is the gift that we were hearing so much about, but didn't get a chance to know what it is.
It's an amazing book, and it's this wealth of knowledge. I try to stay on top of everything that is Fender with amplifiers. But the breadth of what we do and what we've done is really hard to stay on top of. So having this book in front of me, I wanted to go back through and just make sure that I stay on top of it. It's so easy to forget the little things. And I know people come to all kinds of events and they ask about certain amps from the 50s, and I want to be able to answer them truthfully and tell them what it's about. And that's hard sometimes.
Well, you know where I usually start? I brought my Fender Bronco, which is a 1977 Bronco I got when I was I think I was 12 years old, somewhere around there. The age thing blurs a little bit, but I know I was really young. It was my first guitar, and that was really, a special moment for me. I was like, I got a Fender. I had acoustic guitars that were kind of janky, and, you kind of plunked around on it, and that was really special. Now, you're the amp guy, Rick. What was your first Fender amp?
Well, it's funny to say. I feel very proud to say that my first guitar was a Fender Strat. It was actually one from the 70s, a natural colored one.
Okay.
my amp was a Fender as well, but I can't even tell you the name of it. It was an amp that we were making in the late 80s, and I believe it was an imported amp.
Okay.
And it was definitely not a tube amp. I went to look it up when a while back to see if I could find it somewhere in the internet somewhere, and I couldn't even find it. But I remember that it had this very nice clean tone.
Okay. Silverface, or what was it?
No, it was just it was like a solid state amp that Fender was making. Around 85, Fender actually was brought back into the fold from CBS with Bill Schultz. And so they started making, guitars back at the factory in California, and they started importing amps, and I think that's where that came from. The funny thing is, at the time, having a Fender clean tone meant nothing to me because I was a metal dude.
Oh, yeah.
And all I wanted to do is sound like Metallica. So I was like, this sounds okay, but I need a distortion pedal to do what I need to do. And, I think like every guitarist out there, you start with something and, I wanted to do all that stuff, and then you come back to the classic Fender sound, whether it be the cleans or the tweed, that has a wonderful, overdrive or whatever. But, we all, like you said before, we all make mistakes in the past, and we buy things or sell things that we shouldn't. And
oh yeah, I'm regretting a lot. I was just telling Paul about stuff. I had a chance to buy this is kind of off topic, but a TB 303, which is made by Roland. It's a little bass thing. Could have bought it for $50. It's worth like $6,000 now if you got it. Yeah, it's just crazy.
Wow.
So I want to kill myself for that one. So anyway, Danny, how about you, man? What's tell us about the original gear when you were younger. What inspired you? Because I think that's who listens. These people.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was definitely an electric player as a kid, and like Rick, I wanted to sound like Metallica, and I was into some really heavy stuff too, heavier than Metallica. It wasn't really until like the early 90s that I got into acoustic, and it's really kind of a dream to actually work for the brand. So it's just kind of cool. But the gear, really, like I couldn't really afford much stuff when I was younger, so it's kind of interesting now to be here and get to play with all this stuff and not have to pay for it.
Yeah. That's probably the best part of your job, right? You get a chance to play with all this gear. Me and Paul, my producer here and also guitar player for the band, we've been just, appreciate musicpower.com and Guitar Trader for letting us use all this fun stuff that we're able to play around with here today, and as well as we're going to be on the KUSI morning show tomorrow. So, and it's really been really appreciative. Guitar and Fender. I mean, when Paul found out we were working with you guys, he was as giddy as a schoolgirl. So
it's funny you guys both mentioned the same story. It's kind of the same thing for me. When I started playing, I was into Metallica, and my first guitar was a Fender Strat. And after a while, I was like, I just need something heavier, and I kind of took a detour into Kramers and stuff like that, and just you come back to it when you really learn to appreciate tone and how to build a soundscape.
I agree.
Awesome.
We kind of say it at the office, all roads lead to Fender. You can start somewhere else, and you do all this different stuff. And like he and I often joke about playing Metallica songs and like sweeps and all this stuff that we tried to do. And now it's like more about, taste and tone and touch. And that's where Fender always excels, whether it be acoustics or electrics or amps. You get to there at some point. You start somewhere else, and even Metallica, we know that they use Fenders in the studio for their cleans and stuff on occasion too. So
yeah, and we kind of talked about that earlier. That really there wouldn't be rock and roll, I believe, if it wasn't for Fender. You talk about all the greats starting off, from the Buddy Hollies early on to obviously the heavy tone coming with Jimmy, all Stratocasters, and then you've got, the roots rock and roll with Bruce Springsteen with Telecasters. Who have you met and who have you been able to power with some of the gear that you guys manage?
Well, something that's happened kind of recently, and I'm really excited about because I've been a big fan of Ryan Adams for a really long time.
Awesome.
Great singer-songwriter, great guitarist, and he's been known to play Fenders throughout his career. And as of recently, we have gotten in touch with him, and we've done this new 65 custom line, and we knew that he loves Princetons. That's all he plays these days. So we sent him a couple of the Princetons to try out, and he actually called me up along with our AR guy out in Burbank, and he was just like, I love these amps. These are great. I'm going to use these on tour. I'm going to use these on the album.
Awesome.
I'd love to do a video with you guys. And the 16-year-old me is like, yeah. But as the adult, I was calm and reserved, and I'm talking to Ryan Adams on the phone, and I'm like, this is really cool. So I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So we went to his studios. He sat down with us for like an hour, and we just talked about those amps. And just recently, the video went live on the Fender site and on YouTube. And he says since 2005, he won't use anything else but a Princeton. So, I don't know how else to. Those are some strong words coming from someone that can pretty much buy whatever he wants to.
Yeah.
And I know he's finishing up an album, and he's getting ready to go on tour, and he's got a bunch of stacks of Princetons that he's going to be playing. So, for me, that was a personal moment of triumph of just saying, wow, here's someone that I really respect who is excited about Fender and is working with us.
Yeah. We got about a minute left, Danny. Tell me about some of the people you've worked with, because acoustic guitars, Fender hasn't been known for, but it make amazing guitars. Tell me about some of the artists that you've had a chance to work with.
The cool thing about Fender Acoustics is it's a little different from the rest of the acoustic manufacturers out there, because if you look at the history of Fender itself, it's really about fun and sun. It's about taking personal days, and that's really the Fender acoustic motto. It's about playing hooky and, just spend a day with your guitar. And not going to school.
Everything's named after California
and
cities.
Everything, the Balboa, Newporter, it's just really all about this area. A lot of love here. But as far as artists go, like Tony Alva, guys like that, Wayne Kramer, Tim Armstrong.
He's got his own signature brand.
Yeah, real cool cats, and it's really cool to have them as part of the image of Fender Acoustics.
Yeah, and we're gonna get a chance to kind of talk further about the guitars, and I was blown away by some of the one of a kinds that you guys had over the shop as you're getting set up.
Yeah.
I guess it's the music, so it's we've got to take a pause for the cause. We've got the commercials coming on. We will be back. This is Florentino with The Changing Stage with Rick and Danny from Fender. Paul Baretsky. We're going to be introducing my band, Curbside Vinyl, in this next segment. We're going to do a little jam session, and then we're going to talk about all the amazing gear that's going to be seen at the event here on the 19th. Stay tuned.
You're invited to the Fender Summer Celebration at Guitar Trader, Saturday, July 19th from noon to 5 p.m. Enjoy free food and drink, live music, and more as the Fender product development team demos the latest Fender guitars, basses, and amps. And get your hands on exclusive one-of-a-kind Fender instruments. Bring your guitar with you and get a free Fender restring and tune-up. And get a free gift when you purchase any in-stock Fender instrument or amplifier. That's the Fender Summer Celebration, Saturday, July 19th at Guitar Trader in San Diego. You and your guitar don't want to miss it. Visit musicpower.com or fender.com/dealer event for details.
Thank you for listening to WS Radio. Improve your business and your life with useful information from experts and thought leaders. WS Radio is radio with ROI.
You may have heard me brag about Progressive Medical Center and just how much they've helped me with my health. And Dr. Goley, one thing that you have helped so many people with is migraines.
Unfortunately, there are millions and millions of Americans who are suffering with migraines and headaches, and they're debilitating because it affects the quality of their life, and they cannot function properly. At Progressive, we get the root cause because we understand that migraines could be caused by nutritional deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, believe it or not, delayed food sensitivities. And once we determine what the real reason is, we put a plan of action together with medication that we get them off slowly, and we put them on an all-natural approach, and the results are amazing.
Incredible. I mean, there's so many people that can say they don't live their lives with migraines anymore thanks to Progressive Medical Center.
And that's what's exciting and rewarding to us as physicians, because we help our patients take control of their health, and that's why they're living well.
Why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today? Don't live in pain. Don't have migraines anymore. Just go to their website, progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life. Live it well.
Your guy, Doug Young, here for Sports Squawk Saturday with your guy, Doug Young, here on WSRadio.com. Hear hot Charger talk from the biggest names in sports every Saturday here on WS Radio.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the coaches training program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
We are back on segment 2. This is Changing Stage. My name is Florentino Buenaventura, and we are brought to you by WS Radio Networks, as well as our fun friends over at musicpower.com. And we're back with Rick and Danny from Fender, woohoo, and Paul. But we also got some other special guests. These folks here are near and dear to my heart. They're like family, and we've been growing together. And we're all going to be doing a special event here tomorrow night, or not tomorrow night, tomorrow afternoon. We are doing a show tomorrow night, but tomorrow afternoon, 12 o'clock, we're doing an event over at a Guitar Trader with Fender and with Curbside Vinyl. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
All right. You guys don't have to be shy to the mic. Anyway, so Curbside Vinyl is my band or I'm part of their band, however you want to look at it. We've been together for quite some time, but we've actually started going down the road of being a recording group here. And we've got a nice studio here that we're going to be doing some fun stuff in for you folks in the future. But I'd like to introduce everybody. Start off with Mr. Batu. He is the youngest, but definitely not the least. He is a master percussionist drummer, and we were really appreciative of him joining our group. Mr. Batu, say hi to everybody.
Hello.
So tell us a bit about yourself. How old are you, Batu?
I'm 19.
Okay, talk a little bit closer.
I just kind of newly joined the band, and I'm digging it.
Groove Master. And after him, it would be our lovely co-lead singer, Miss Mickey Ireland Wynn, known as Miss M.
Hello, everyone.
She is a big belter, but she's also a shy one. So, how long have you been singing, Mickey?
Ever since high school.
Well, 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
She's our young one. After that would be our other co-lead singer, as well as violinist, Miss Ho.
Hello, everyone.
Ooh, the seductive voice. There you go. She's a seducer of our group here. She's got that silky smooth voice, and you'll be hearing that tomorrow, and a little bit on background vocals today. And she is also you're also a keyboard player, and Mickey and and the whole group songwriters.
That's right. We're working on our own original material.
Yes.
Hopefully, everyone will enjoy it tomorrow.
Well, I know what you got to turn around towards the microphone, guys. And then, last but not least, is my brother in all this crime of it, the producer of the show, Mr. Paul Berezewski.
What's up?
So, Paul is our master guitar virtuoso, music director as well.
I wouldn't go that far.
I'm building him up.
I'm faking it till I make it.
So the group, we're going to be playing tomorrow night. We're going to be playing on Fender gear, and that's what we're excited about. I'm going to get a chance to play this lovely precision with the P-bass / jazz bass combo. It's American made. I think Paul is going to be jamming on, which one was that one, Paul? That's the cream.
The sandblasted one?
Are you jamming the sandblasted one, or are you jamming the cream one? You might have both. So we've got the
at the event.
The custom shop,
the cream one.
Yeah. So they're both going to be custom shop strats, and then we've got a tremendous acoustic. It is a Newport Newporter.
The act of Newporting.
So we've got all this gear, and then Paul's going to jam around on my old axe, the Fender Bronco. He fell in love with it last night when I brought it to the practice last night, and loves the tone of it and the feel of the neck, because it's like a 3/4 size neck or something like that.
Yeah, that thing's great.
So, gentlemen, please tell me a little bit about the gear. Tell me about all this fun stuff that we're going to have a chance to, demonstrate tomorrow.
Well, we brought about 8 custom shop pieces out of our U.S. factory. Some really cool stuff. One of them is this leather covered orchestra model. It's a very interesting piece. It's done with like kangaroo leather. The guy does boots and bags, and we kind of brought him in just to do a cool one-off piece.
That thing's crazy looking
Yeah.
too. It's got all these different I guess heavy metal characters on an acoustic guitar.
Some skulls and stuff like that. Yeah, really interesting.
Out of kangaroo leather.
Kangaroo leather,
that's
man.
Wild, man.
Yeah, we should have named it the marsupial or something. So we have this Newporter here that you were just talking about. It's a really cool piece. Genuine mahogany top, all solid woods, maple back and sides.
Yeah.
All bone, bone, nut, and saddle. All the good stuff.
Street price, what are those 2 guitars going for? Because they're not for the faint of heart.
No, they're upwards of about $2,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
But they're definitely all worth it.
Totally worth it, man. And they're a piece of history, really.
Yeah. I think one thing I've noticed, and we were talking about this earlier, like I told you, gentlemen, we always get the good stuff in between the segments. But I think there was a passion that Leo had when he decided to make these guitars. Tell us about the passion that was put into the acoustic line.
Well, the acoustic line didn't start till the early 60s. This guy named Roger Rossmeisel, who was actually he worked for Rickenbacker, and he was responsible for a lot of the really cool designs that they came up with, arch tops and stuff like that. And then the story goes that he just went and saw Leo one day and said, "I'm here, put me to work." And Leo kind of knew about him and his work history and what he was capable of, and he just started him that day.
Wow.
And around 1963, Fender was starting to produce, acoustic guitars with their name on it, and it was just really because of the folk boom in the 1950s that kind of gave Fender the opportunity to get into that market. And we've had some starts and stops, but I think we're in a really good place now. We got some really cool guitars, both here in the U.S. and stuff built overseas. We got some great inspection processes, all the same things that went into building electrics. We take the same care in building acoustics as well.
Yeah. Well, you have something special that you mentioned to me earlier about how it started off with the bolt-on necks.
Yeah, that's true, because one of the first guitars came out was a Dreadnought. It was a Kinman, and it had a bolt-on neck. And some of the other things that Roger brought to the table was this truss that went across the top so that it could lighten up the bracing and the top. Some really cool stuff. And the one of the Kingmans we have on display at Guitar Trader is just that. It's kind of reminiscent of the early 60s Kingman that we did back then.
Wow. And I liked it because it has, an electric feel. And
yeah, 68. I think it's a 68 Strat neck.
Yeah. You got a chance to jam around with it, Paul. What did you think?
Very big sound. I really dig it, and I like these electric necks on the acoustics with the just straight 6 tuners on top. I always kind of don't like messing around the top and bottom.
People don't realize you don't need to cut it out. You don't need a cutout. You can still access the upper frets because there's no heel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You could get up there.
So it gives it that full sound.
Well, what's neat also about it is that we're using the custom colors that we normally use on our electrics. So you've got a vintage color like that Lake Placid blue, which is something you don't see. And on top of that, it's got a matching headstock, which is really sleek.
That's one of the great things about being Fender acoustics. We get the same liberties.
Yeah, you can do all kinds of different things with it. In fact, 2 wants to turn her Tesla into a cherry pink sparkle one that you guys had an amp.
Yeah, she saw Blues Junior at the Guitar Trader.
Yeah.
Oh, the red sparkle one.
Nail polish kind of colored one.
So, yeah.
It might have some jewel spots.
Yeah, you might.
I cleaned it off. It's okay.
She was like, I want to turn my Tesla into this. She's rocking a Tesla. So, now we've got a couple of amps here. We've got a Blues Junior 3 over there, I think. And then we also have a Rumble 40. You're going to have some really serious amp gear. In fact, we're going to play through some stuff. I'm going to play through a Rumble 500 with, a 410 with, some tutors there. And then, Paul's playing through. What you picked up the deluxe, right?
Looked
like a Blues Deluxe in tweed.
Yep.
So
we've got some. The thing is, what's great about Fender is not just guitars. As far as the exclusives that we're going to have at this event, it's something that people should realize, like, these aren't just like colors. These are like really interesting, like spalted maple. We've got black ash. We've got a Kari top. I mean, we've got woods I've never even seen before these. We've got inset, like where the pickguard is actually wood and it's inset into the guitar.
Yeah.
I know that one.
Yeah. I mean, the finishes and the woods that they're using are really, really remarkable. And they're one of a kind. So people that are coming out, it's like, if you get that, you're the only one that's going to have that guitar. That's it. No more. So that's a really cool thing. And then the amps that we have there too are very, very limited quantity things. One of my favorites there is actually a Vibra King. We've done the whole thing in a bird's eye maple. Okay. That's a beautiful wood. It's not easy to work with. And we've created this kind of, we call it Tequila Sunrise Sunburst on it. It's got Celestian Golds, which are a very, very high-end speaker. So this thing is a work of art. You can put this in your living room, and your wife's not going to be upset because it matches. You know, it's going to look beautiful, and it sounds amazing. It really does. I guess someone was in today, and they were really, really seriously considering it. So I don't know if they're coming back, but I mean, once that one's gone, I don't think we have any left. That's it. So there's that. There's a Princeton. It's like two-tone in surf green and white. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. So people coming down, they're going to see some things that they don't see anywhere else.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be big. We're going to talk about that in the third segment, some of the things that they may not be able to experience other places. We've got about 35 seconds left. You know, I'm just, like I said, really happy that you guys have come down, and we got a couple more segments. But I want to remind everybody, again, Guitar Trader today, at 12 o'clock. You got to make it out because it's going to be an amazing time. You know, there's about 300 people that have said that they're going to make it to the invite.
That's a pretty decent number there.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's going to be awesome. Get your guitars restrung, get some tune-ups done. So that's going to be big. So, you know, make sure you come out, and after that, come out and check out the band. We're going to actually bring the band in this third segment. Get a little jam session, and then we're going to be doing some jamming with you guys, hopefully. Maybe do some blues stuff or something like that. My name's Florentino. This is The Changing Stage, powered by WS Radio Network, brought to you by MusicPower.com and Guitar Trader. Make sure you come out in about 30 minutes. Are you ready to get real about your music? My name's Florentino, and I'm the host of The Changing Stage. On my show, we get the real stories of how great music and musicians are made. You know who else is real? The professionals at MusicPower.com. They help serious players make music happen with the right advice, direction, and cutting-edge gear. Isn't it time you leave amateur hour behind? Then go to MusicPower.com. Real musicians, real gear.
You've heard me bragging about Progressive Medical Center and how they've helped me feel so much healthier. But one thing, Dr. Agoli, that a lot of people come to you with is just unexplained pain. They just can't get any relief. Why can Progressive Medical Center's Pain Management Center help them?
First of all, we have to acknowledge that pain is for real, and you've got acute pain and chronic pain. Here's the problem. That acute pain turns to chronic, which is long-standing, and no one's getting to the root cause. There's several key diagnostic components that help us get to the root of what's causing this pain. Is it inflammation? Once we do a thorough evaluation to get to the root cause, determine if it's structural or if it's a metabolic issue. And this way we put an individualized program for pain management involving correcting the spine, using certain injections when necessary, and we get our patients out of pain quicker, and they stay out of pain because we teach them how to live their life well.
Don't let yourself live in pain any longer. Get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today at progressivemedicalcenter.com.
Progressive Medical, this is your life, live it well.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Love to read but just don't have the time? With Audible.com, you can catch up on reading simply by listening. Audible has the largest collection of digital audiobooks, over 85,000 titles in every genre. Listen to a bestseller on your iPhone, BlackBerry, Android smartphone, or one of 500 other compatible devices. Visit audible.com/WS Radio today and get a free audiobook when you try Audible free for 14 days. That's audible.com/WS Radio.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
You are back with the third segment of the Changing Stage, brought to you by MusicPower.com and powered by WS Radio Networks. Again, we are here with Fender, and we're going to do something a little special. We've got an event that's happening later on today, the 19th of July, in San Diego. I got reminded that not everybody listening is going to be in San Diego. So that is going to be here in San Diego at the Guitar Trader over on Claremont Mesa Boulevard. And we're going to be doing some giveaways of replacing strings, tune-ups, and then we're going to have my band, Curbside Vinyl, playing. And we're going to do a little something for you, a little song that Mickey and the group wrote, and it's called Rebel Lady. So, Paul, you want to start us off?
She's got a magic to her eyes, but she won't let no one tell her lies. Endlessly beautiful, sicker than any fool. You can bet that she's a bomb. Walks like she doesn't give a damn. Says all that high fashion's just a scam. Sexiness comes from being the might, and she's got it all so tall she stands. She don't need no company. She don't need no company. Yeah, I found my baby, rebel lady tonight. You can tell me I'm hazy, might be crazy, but she's everything. That's right.
All right, that is Curbside Vinyl. All right, here we go. That's it. All right, thank you very much, guys. Got a little distortion there, but that's all right. We're always having fun here. And this is Curbside Vinyl, and my name is Florentino. So we're going to have a little entertainment there at the event. We're going to have some great gear. Tell us a little bit more, Rick or Danny, a little bit about what they can expect as a way of the agenda.
Well, I'd like to say that we got some pretty deep discounts. Come down, check out, see what we got.
Yeah, I mean, I think for people coming down, the exciting thing is, as musicians, we get out there and we see a lot of gear, and even us at Fender, sometimes we get a little jaded because we see custom shops every day, we see relics every day. Even for us to see these amps, and these guitars in person that you don't see very often is a really special thing. So, I mentioned about the Vibra King and about the Princeton. There's going to be, the new ones that we just actually came out with, the 65s, Princeton Deluxe, that are actually in a brown. So they're almost like the original brown faces.
Yeah.
Almost like a transitional sort of thing. With the guitars, we actually have one there that has this sort of, it's a maple neck, and it's actually been coated in this really dark kind of cherry red. It almost looks like it's been in a smoky bar for like 50 years.
That's awesome.
I mean, they're just, we had this discussion, like you were saying, when you're off the air, and just saying, like, they're almost so beautiful that you feel scared to play them,
or damage them because they're works of art.
Unless you get a relic, then the more you.
Well, once I guess that's the point. Once you ding it once, then it's over. Yeah, I did mention that I had that 2 days after I had an amp. It dropped and dented it, and I was really upset for a couple hours. And then I was over it, and it's like then you don't worry about it anymore. I guess, right?
You just let it go. It's character. It becomes character. It's like Willie Nelson and the big giant hole that he has in his acoustic that he's been playing forever.
Yeah.
In fact, you were telling me that acoustic guitars really don't. It's kind of like a car. They got to be opened up before they really start to.
Oh, sure. Yeah. When you're dealing with some solid tops, solid back and sides, it takes a little while for them to open up, and it's not something that you can just put in your case and let it sit like a bottle of wine. You got to take that thing out and play it. The more you play it, the more excited that top gets. And the quicker that it will break in, and you one day you'll pick it up, and all of a sudden it's just like a cannon. Just tone just opens up like a flood.
And I think what people don't realize about this event that's going to be why it's so huge and why I think we've got the attendance that we have is that this is going to be like a little mini NAMM show. It's kind of what I feel like. Because you guys are doing a presentation. It's not just come see gear and you look at the painting, but you're going to really kind of give the breath into the life of the soul of each instrument and be able to take them through a journey. Is that not correct?
Yeah, I would say that. Well, at least this is the hope. I mean, Danny and I are hoping. We'll see if people agree with that. Being with the company for a while and getting to know the rich history, I'm able to talk to, and we'll talk about, the Strat. I mean, it's been around, it's 60 years that it's been around, and it's relatively the same that it has been since the beginning. I mean, how many things can you say that about? Computers, cars, televisions, nothing.
And it keeps appreciating in value.
Yeah, and the tweaks that we do generally are subtle, but it's still the same thing in most ways. So it's not just about that. It's about the cultural relevance of the guitar, of how it came about, of how the times influenced it and how it influenced the times.
Yeah.
And hopefully I've got some anecdotes or some things that people haven't heard before, some things about Leo and things about the Strat and about amps too, because it's very easy for us to forget, like Leo did amps before he did guitars.
Yeah.
Okay. And also, that's where he was more excited. He was very much a nerd when it came to electronics and stuff, and he created these circuits that to this day are replicated in all these other boutique amps. Generally, if you're buying a boutique amp, it's either a Fender-based, Vox-based, or Marshall-based sort of thing with some tweaks. But those are the circuits that everyone knows and loves.
Yeah. Now, that was when he was doing the amps. Was am I right? K and L, is that?
Yes. It was Kaufman and Leo. It was K and F. It was Kaufman, Kaufman and Fender. Yeah, Doc Kaufman and him. And I sometimes wonder if Doc maybe was kicking himself in the pants, 10 years down the road after he ducked out and Leo really picked up. But it is funny to remember, just a small little tidbit, is that they started, in their house. And so the original lap steels and amps, well, mostly the lap steels were actually baked in Doc Kaufman's oven.
Wow.
So they painted it and then cooked it in the oven to solidify the paint.
Yeah. Most people don't realize that rock and roll guitar came from Hawaiian guitars.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they were playing little lap steels.
Yeah, one of the best musicians, in Fender at the time was Freddie Tavares.
Yeah.
And that was where his background was from. Yeah. And actually, I heard that he was the one, the intro to Looney Tunes, that
oh, wow.
That's him. That's him doing the slide. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Everybody's been influenced by that. Yeah. And if I understand it rightly, maybe not the solid body, but I guess it was jazz musicians that really kind of said we need to be able to compete with an orchestra and we need to be heard. So amplification was created because of that.
Yes, one begets the other. Next thing you know, everyone's competing, and then you're up to full stacks. But yeah, it was guitars were initially supposed to be in the background, and guitarists had stuff to say. Now there were people like Django that found a way to calm the orchestra. Yeah. But an amplifier came out so that a guitarist could actually be heard above the orchestra, and then they started to solo. And then next thing you know, Jimi Hendrix happens, and dogs and cats living together and mass hysteria.
So, speaking of mass hysteria, the celebration is going to be happening in just a short time here. Tell me, why did Fender want to come out and do this here in San Diego? And you're doing it in 3 locations in the country. What are the other locations? Because we do, not just here in San Diego, but there are going to be some other ones happening.
Well, there's one at Huber Breeze, and that's going to be in Ohio, and then CA Music, and I believe that's in Michigan.
Okay. So taking it to the
close to Detroit, I should say.
Yeah, Detroit.
Yeah. And so yeah, each one's going to be, you know, a unique thing. The reason we did this is, you know, some of these dealers that we've worked with them for a really long time. They're great dealers. They're great people to work with. I mean, we have a lot of those people, but you know, we thought now was the time to really just get out and talk to customers and players and find out what they're into and also support our dealers. I mean, we work with them hand in hand, and it's really important. And so, you know, I remember going into Guitar Trader 17 years ago and actually trying out a Fender amplifier. So,
were you from here?
No, I lived here for a couple of years, but, you know, it was in my formative years of playing guitar, and I remember going in and trying out a Vibra King and not realizing what True Tone is and not knowing how to play guitar through that amp. And now kind of kicking myself, but I mean, that's how long I've known about them. So I mean, they've been kicking around for a while.
Well, Guitar Trader's been around for 35 years, you know, about half the time of Fender. So since rock and roll, you know, right in the beginning of rock and roll, it was there. Started in a garage, kind of like, you know, Leo did and the crew. And I think that's kind of a story you hear. I think we've seen that in a commercial where all these things, the Ramones started in the garage. Yeah, greatest things started in garage. So, you know, I love those guys. And I'm not just saying it because we work with them, but really they have the great gear. They're where the musicians go. How did you choose these different locations around the country?
I think it's just the participation. The dealers do really well for us, and we want to just reward them as well as, you know, all the people that are fans of Fender. Yeah. And I think that, you know, Guitar Trader, MusicPower.com, they have both components, but because they have the brick and mortar, they can add that personal touch, and I think that's what's crucial about you know, expressing the passion and the soul of the Fender guitars. Well, it should be an experience, really, ultimately, buying a guitar. Yeah.
We have a tagline for them called, you know, a real musician's helping you with real gear. And I you know, I honestly say my appreciation for Fender is huge because the sound, everything that we have, you know, it lends a lot to the history and credibility of Fender. And, you know, we're going to talk about the direction, you know, in the next segment, and that's going to be a big thing, and talk about how everything's kind of going in the digital age. But if you could say one thing for people coming out tomorrow within like 20 seconds, give me one thing.
Well, hot dogs, number one, and great gear, and I think it's going to be fun, some great music. You guys are great.
Thank you. Well, we're going to hear full drums with Batu. He's a powerhouse, so that's going to be good. We'll be right back. This is The Changing Stage, Florentino with Danny and Rick and Curbside Vinyl. Back in a few short moments for the fourth segment.
You're invited to the Fender Summer Celebration at Guitar Trader, Saturday, July 19th from noon to 5 p.m. Enjoy free food and drink, live music, and more as the Fender Product Development Team demos the latest Fender guitars, basses, and amps. And get your hands on exclusive one-of-a-kind Fender instruments. Bring your guitar with you and get a free Fender restring and tune-up, and get a free gift when you purchase any in-stock Fender instrument or amplifier. That's the Fender Summer Celebration, Saturday, July 19th at Guitar Trader in San Diego. You and your guitar don't want to miss it. Visit musicpower.com or fender.com/dealer event for details.
Are you an adventurous wine drinker? Would you enjoy trying a bold red with dark fruit and a spicy finish from Hungary? Or an amphora-style Chivi Pinot with layers of complex flavors? Carpathian Wines hand selects extraordinary wines from premier Central European wineries. At CarpathianWines.com, you'll find amazing dry whites, big juicy reds, even the famous Tokaja Azul. Discover award-winning limited production wines from the heart of Central Europe. Find them only at CarpathianWines.com.
You've heard me bragging about Progressive Medical Center and how they've helped me feel so much healthier. But one thing, Dr. Agoli, that a lot of people come to you with is just unexplained pain. They just can't get any relief. Why can Progressive Medical Center's Pain Management Center help them?
First of all, we have to acknowledge that pain is for real, and you've got acute pain and chronic pain. Here's the problem. That acute pain turns to chronic, which is long-standing, and no one's getting to the root cause. There's several key diagnostic components that help us get to the root of what's causing this pain. Is it inflammation? Once we do a thorough evaluation to get the root cause, determine if it's structural or if it's a metabolic issue. And this way we put an individualized program for pain management involving correcting the spine, using certain injections when necessary, and we get our patients out of pain quicker, and they stay out of pain because we teach them how to live their life well.
Don't let yourself live in pain any longer. Get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today at ProgressiveMedicalCenter.com.
Progressive Medical, this is your life, live it well.
UltraStar Mission Valley Cinemas offers D-Box motion seats for select titles. Now playing in D-Box, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. The seats actually move with the on-screen action. D-Box works with the filmmakers during the editing process to create an experience like no other. You actually feel the movie exactly as it appears on the screen. You'll feel like going through the sky with Captain America and Falcon when you reserve one of these seats. There is an upcharge to experience Captain America: The Winter Soldier in D-Box, but it's worth it.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
Righty. You are back for the fourth segment of the Changing Stage, powered by WS Radio Networks and brought to you by MusicPower.com and Guitar Trader here in San Diego. And we're going to do a little something for you. Both Danny and Rick are amazing players. I've heard them earlier today, and we're going to jam impromptu. We've never actually jammed. Well, I haven't jammed with the gentleman before. We're going to do a little blues and A. And I'm going to actually ask Danny to kind of kick it off. And we're going to that is Danny and Rick from Fender, jamming the blues. Let's take it on home, boys. All right. Awesome. So now you folks know that they're not just guys that help to make these great gear, but they actually are players and get a chance to enjoy all this fun stuff.
That was fun.
That sounded great. Awesome.
So, what are you playing now? What's your axe of choice, Mr. Rick?
Oh, wow. I have quite a few guitars, as you might imagine. I try to keep, quality as opposed to quantity, but lately I've been playing the new Starcasters that we make.
Okay.
And I find that a lot of fun to play. It's not your standard kind of Fender, but the one that has really wowed me is we're doing an anniversary 1954 Strat. And actually, Guitar Trader has one. We're only making 1,954 of them.
Oh, that's cool.
Got my hands on one. And it's an unbelievable guitar.
That's why you want that job, what Rick does.
Exactly. So, like, every nuance of that guitar from 1954 is replicated. The real detail things that only those people that are really nerdy about it know, like the pickup covers and the knobs and the switch tip and all that stuff they replicated to a T.
Wow.
And it's an amazing guitar. It's as good as any custom shop that I've played, at least personally, for me.
What does something like that go for?
I believe that one was, the one they have there, I don't know what they're selling it for, but I think it's right around $22.99, I think, something right around there.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. I hate to say, all the pricing on the guitars, I know less than the amps, but I know it's right around that price point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Danny.
Yeah, right now I'm playing with the traditional Pro, one of the first series that we did out of the U.S. Really nice guitar, AAA spruce top, rosewood back and sides. all solid wood construction, red spruce, the bracing, really cool guitar.
And all these are very organic, and that's one of the things that Fender's known for. But we're kind of coming into a digital age, and a lot of things are happening. People have, home studios, and they're making albums that sound like they've been in, multi-million-dollar studios. You've got artists being created by YouTube. Tell me a little bit about now where Fender's going. Is that something that you guys are going to entertain? Are you going to get into the digital age? Especially like with the amps, or is it organic still the key for you folks?
Well, we already do digital amps. So we do the Mustang line, which is actually a great digital amp as far as the sampling of the Fender amps as well as some other amps is really, really astonishing how good it sounds for the price point. So we do that. We are definitely entertaining, all options. We have new Fender audio products that actually are kind of leaning towards people that might create electronic music or DJs or things like that. We will definitely be continuing to look ahead, but never forget about looking behind. I mean, it's important to have both.
Yeah.
People will always want tube amps, but there are also people that don't mind plugging into an iPad and playing that way. I mean, it's very portable. It's very easy to use. So we will entertain everything, and we will not stop going both ways, going backward and looking that way in reflection, going forward and trying to stay on top of things.
Yeah.
On that same note, Fender acoustics, we have electroacoustics, which are the teleacoustics and stratoacoustics. They're shaped kind of like the same tele neck and profile, and then there's actually a micro USB out of the guitar for direct recording into your iPad or whatever recording device you might have.
Yeah, that is awesome. And Fender owns a few different companies that kind of explore a lot of different things too, right? Is that not correct?
Well, all over the guitar spectrum. I mean, we own Jackson, we own Charvel, so we have the metal market there. We work with Fred Gretsch to make Gretsch guitars, which are great.
Yeah.
We have a lot lot of that covered, EVH as well. We work directly with Eddie Van Halen. And those amps, though they're not a part of officially of my department, I'm very proud of those because I thought that maybe initially the only people that loved Van Halen would have those amps, but those amps have become a whole thing unto themselves. So most of these new metal bands, that's the amp of choice.
Now, see, I didn't realize that, until I did a little research and that Fender was, had so many different areas that you guys cover. Is there any areas that you guys are not currently in but might be moving towards that you can give out? This might be top secret information.
Well,
or you might have to kill us before you give it out. But
maybe glockenspiels might be something. I don't know.
Fender acoustics, we're looking at having a higher end, affordable line with some really high end tone woods.
Okay.
So we're really looking into that.
So the exotics kind of thing.
So not exotics, but rich tone woods.
Okay.
All solid construction at an affordable price point.
Yeah. So that sounds like an area that I think is going to be very explorable because again, we talked about. Not everybody knows about the incredible tone of the acoustics.
Yeah.
And I love some of the other lines that you have that have things like the tuners and different things. Tell us a little bit about some of the moderately priced points for the acoustic lines.
Oh yeah, we got anywhere from $199 up to $1,000. On our domestic products. Or imports, I'm sorry. And then, up in the custom shop and the collector customs, you can get upwards of $5,000. But some of the lower end stuff, they're still great guitars, in the classic series or the classic design series. We offer all solid wood construction.
Okay.
Some pretty cool, tone woods. On the lower end, up to like $599, you can get something pretty solid. And then, like the T buckets, out of the Hot Rod series, it's like some really flashy tops, things that, the artist that wants to stand out visually as well as tonally. So we got a lot, to offer.
And I think that in amps, like the Rumble 40, it's a great sounding amp. It's got a very vintage tone to it if you want, or you can turn the vintage off and have a more modern sound. What's something like that go for?
Well, for the 40, it's going to be $199.
$199.
So we do all the Rumbles all the way from the 25 up to like a 500. Great price point. if you haven't, I'm sure you've actually lifted it up. You realize how ridiculously light it is.
It's so wonderful.
There's never been a better time for bass players because they have a great tone. They're really light.
Stuff.
One of the things is when I go out and I talk to dealers and I talk to other people, one of the first things I do is I say, pick up that 100-watt amp. And most people almost threw out their back because they don't realize it's so light. They think I'm joking, and they're like, wow, I can't believe this. So great tone, light, easy to use.
Well, folks, it's going to be an amazing time here in actually a few short moments. We're pre-recording this, so if you've heard me say tomorrow, that's because we're trying to give you the impression that we're here in the studio. But actually, we're getting ready. If you're listening to this right now, we're getting ready to get the event for you. My name is Florentino, and this is The Changing Stage, and I really appreciate you all listening. Appreciate Rick and Danny and Sanir coming from Fender, and we're gonna enjoy a good time with you folks. Again, thanks to MusicPower.com and Guitar Trader. See you there.
Are you ready to get real about your music? My name's Florentino, and I'm the host of The Changing Stage. On my show, we get the real stories of how great music and musicians are made. You know who else is real? The professionals at MusicPower.com. They help serious players make music happen with the right advice, direction, and cutting-edge gear. Isn't it time you leave amateur hour behind? Then go to MusicPower.com. Real musicians, real gear.
Progressive Medical.
Hey, this is Heidi Rue, and Progressive Medical Center has literally changed my life and my health, but I'm not the only one. Adele suffered from bone deterioration, bone overgrowth, profound muscle discomfort, physical exhaustion, and mental fog. In fact, the bone deterioration became so serious that she had to have back surgery. Well, after the surgery, still didn't feel well, and so that's when she heard about Progressive Medical Center. Progressive Medical Center discovered that her adrenals weren't working properly, her hormones were out of whack, and the drugs she had been taking were doing more harm than good. Adele came into Progressive Medical Center in a walker, physically and mentally exhausted. But now she's a world traveler. She hikes and walks several miles a day, and it's all thanks to Progressive Medical Center. 770-676-6000. 770-676-6000.
Progressive Medical. This is your life. Live it well.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Hi, this is Felix Taberna, host of Race and Sports Radio. Join our cast and crew every Saturday and Sunday right here at WSRadio.com, beginning at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. Race and Sports Radio.